Yeah, good. Yes, hi everyone. My name is Jason and I'm from OHDSI Taiwan. And OHDSI Taiwan was established in 2020, last year. And now we have several members in our Taiwan office, including me, Mark, Alex, Benson, and the others. Next, please. Yeah, so we have a new website, and this is a link for our new website. And we are going to upload some information about ourselves and also the symposium on this website later on. So welcome to visit our website. Next, please. So because OHDSI Taiwan is become a formal academic society in Taiwan, so we can start to involve some members from many institutes. So now up to date, we have 31 members in Taiwan from many cities and from 12 institutes, including university, hospitals, and other organizations. Next, please. This year we are going to propose two research projects and from this, and we are going to invite many co-workers from other countries to join us. And the first one will be the lung cancer, and we are going to compare the effectiveness and the safety of immunotherapies for advanced lung cancers. And we hope some friends here from Korea, from Australia, or from Singapore, Japan, China, and others to join us. And we are going to propose to open the propose maybe in August or September for that. And then the second one would be breast cancer prognosis. And this is kind of AI study, and we want to use machine learning to make a prediction model for the prognosis prediction for breast cancer. So also welcome to join us if you are also interested in this kind of research. Next, please. And we also want to join some this year's OHDSI APAC studies, including the first one led by Chen, and also second one led by Singapore, and the third one led by Nicole Pratt, multiple sclerosis, and also the quality assessment study. Because until last year, the end of last year, we don't have some cases about COVID, so we are not able to join any study about the COVID. But now we have more than 80,000 cases in our pediatric hospitals. So probably the second one, we can also join the second one study for about the mortality or morbidity study about COVID-19. Next, please. And we also joined some international studies, like the first one, dual combination therapy use for hypertension, led by Yuan Lu, and which was published in German Network Open. And we also joined some international studies led by Chen, Hong, and Jennifer Lan. And we also want to join the other international studies in the future. Next, please. Yeah, so as you may know that this year's OHDSI APAC symposium will be held in Taiwan in November, on November 12th to 13th, and which is hybrid, including on-site and the virtual one. Next, please. So currently, we talked about how to about the agenda, about the everything of this symposium by APAC steering committee. Thanks for all members here for this kind of conference. Next, please. So here is the draft for the program. About the day one will be the pre-conference tutorials, and we are going to have this kind of planning, including OHDSI introduction, common data model, and vocabulary, and also two tutorials, including ETL, data quality, and phenotype development for the first day. Next, please. For the second day will be the main conference day, and we are going to have the opening remarks by President in TMU, and also the keynote speech by Patrick, and also the APAC introduction by Mui, researches in OHDSI APAC from about 4 research and from 4 study owners, and also research by using Taiwan national data, not only about this data, and also how is the relationship between this data and also OHDSI common data model, and also how to use TMU CRD data and to convert to OHDSI formats. And also in the afternoon, we will have this panel discussion about the dialogue between OMOP, FIRE, and HL7 and others. And also we will have regional updation and sharing for and also the poster session. Next, please. For the poster session, for those people joined this year's OHDSI Global Symposium poster in the United States, maybe have a chance to repeat to have the poster presentation in Taiwan in Asian APAC Symposium, and beyond that, we also open another chance to call for abstract for APAC Symposium, and the deadline for the abstract will be the September 1st. Okay, so topics and the structures and any format are the same, totally same as global one. Okay, and the next, please. Oh, by the way, this is a paper type, not the e-poster. Okay. Next one. So here are the important dates, including September 1st, abstract submission deadline, and the middle of September, we will notice to abstract applications. And also the end of October will be the early registration deadline, and we're going to have the conference start on November 12th. Next, please. Next slides, please. Yeah, thanks for some sponsors for the financial support here. And next will be the last one. Okay, thanks for your listening, and I'm looking forward to see all of you in Taiwan this November. Thanks.
Hey, hi everyone. I'm Morning here. I'm the Singapore chapter co-chair together with Dr. Nyam, who's also chairing the chapter with me. Okay. Next, please. So yeah, to begin the updates, I would like to brief everyone about the Singapore health system a little bit. In Singapore, maybe slightly different from other regions. I would say almost 90% of healthcare resources are still running in the public sector. And our Ministry of Health have decided to divide our very small island into 3 portions and basically fall into what we call the 3 public healthcare clusters. As you can see on the west side, which is the blue color, is the National University Health System that contains, which comprise with 3 hospitals and a number of clinics and GPs, etc. And of course, as the name suggests, it partners with our university, the National University of Singapore, and closely work with our School of Medicine in the university. So that's the west. In the middle, we have the National Health Group with a similar setup, partnering with another university, the Nanyang Technological University Medical School, co-run with Imperial College London. While on the west, as you can see, the orange color is the Seng Health cluster, also contains a number of hospitals, specialized centers, clinics, and work with the Duke NUS Medical School. Okay, that's how our island works. So that when we name all this cluster, then hopefully you manage to get what it means. Next, please. So I will first summarize the efforts in our own cluster, NUHS. We have already mapped previously our electronic medical record data in our cluster from 2015 to 2020 to OMOP CDM. Has been running on alerts platform, allowing mainly the physicians to quickly test out their hypothesis and see whether they have been in the cohort. And since our launch last year, we already supported over 100 studies. As you know, not all of them have turned to a publication or things, but we are glad that it allows our physicians to quickly test out the hypothesis or the likelihood to conduct a study. And some of this study do turn out later on to be a formal research project. The more recent ongoing effort is that our healthcare cluster, the entire cluster, have migrated our EHR system to APAC. Yeah, quite a interesting and exciting journey. So what happens is that now we have to map all our new data from APAC to OMOP CDM. We have to go through that ETL process again. The good news is that through our previous efforts in ETLs to OMOP, we now have already built a dedicated team under Dr. Niam's office, the Group CTO office, for this ETL effort. And also, we are glad to find some partners that kind of share the same pain with us. We have been very actively talking to Roger and Nicole from the Australian chapter and also University of Melbourne, because I learned that they're also using the APAC system to see how we can work together to help each other's journey for mapping APAC data to OMOP CDM. And we are also looking for that, if we manage to done that successfully and learn something, hopefully we can develop a kind of ETL for APAC repositories in the OHDSI GitHub. So of course that we will work very closely with the OHDSI team. Would like to learn what's the process of creating a repository and what's the process of contributing codes there, etc. Next, please. Thanks. Yeah, and then on the national level, besides our own cluster, actually we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have managed to convince our Ministry of Health that they will adopt the OHDSI OMOP CDM as a national standard for research-based data sharing. So all the other clusters also have their own teams and effort for mapping their EHR data into OMOP's CDM as well. And even on the national level, under Ministry of Health, they also built a dedicated team on the national platform that mapping the national level data into OMOP CDM as well. And besides Ministry of Health, our Health Science Authority, which is equivalent for FDA, is part of the effort as well. So things are happening. I would say give us a while more, hopefully not too long, until we finish the ETL process. Hopefully, I do look forward that we can start to develop more studies like what Jason did, and of course definitely need to look up to Nicole. Then once we finish the ETL process, hopefully we can be leaders for some of the regional study as well. Yeah, next please. And another effort we are looking at is that we are looking the possibility to build a ETL or mapping curriculum to train technicians or engineers for various institutes to go through the ETL process. Here we are looking something beyond what we have already done. I know we have tutorials, seminars, and etc. But we are looking a slightly more formal or end-to-end setup that where probably for within 1 or 2 weeks, whatever that needs. Hopefully, so the students in these curriculums we go through the entire process of ETL, and including some exercises, hands-ons, or even a final assignments and assessment. And very relevant to Singapore culture. If at the end some certificates will be given, I think that will be very valuable to our engineers as well. But besides the certificate, and more importantly, we do want a very structured, almost like a school course kind of training to train more such engineers that can help us for the ETL process throughout the entire island. And of course, that one we would very happy or need the consultation from OHDSI Global and Asia Pacific, the entire community. Yes. Next one, please. And studies, as I mentioned, Yu Cheng, one of my students, is helping to lead the one study comparing the morbidity and mortality of healthcare resources utilization for COVID patients. And Yizhi, also one of my students, very lucky to have a chance to work with Chant. And under the supervision of Chant, she already managed to finish an abstract and submit it to the OHDSI Europe Symposium, and then do look forward that we can contribute more to both APAC studies. Yeah, next please. So yeah, moving forward, we are always seeking for collaborations. One thing is that we do know that the OMO have genomics work groups, and we'd like to join in more conversation, especially in the alignment of the kind of the GA 4GH, another global initiative, right? Sort of a kind of open initiative as well, and then see how that may align. And another challenge we face is that we have still have a lot of free text data in our EHR system. We'd like to work with anyone or learn from anyone if they have any methods or have ideas on methods. How do we convert free text data into the OMOP CDM? And is there any standard of doing that? As I mentioned, we look forward to contribute anywhere we can to the OHDSI GitHub repository as well. And last, definitely but not least, right, look forward to see everyone in real person, of course, in our OMOP APAC Symposium in November. And probably, I know the OMOP Europe Symposium is coming up very shortly. I personally may not be going because it's too short, but the US one, I definitely thinking very hard to go. And very likely to travel to US to meet you guys if you like to see me too. Yeah.
So this is the Australia chapter, obviously. These were the goals and the actions and the strategies for achieving our goals that we presented last time. So really, we've got three big buckets of work. The first is to really try to advocate and strengthen some of the data sets that we have mapped to OMOP here in Australia. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The second is to increase participation in the OHDSI community, and we're doing lots of work, as you've seen in the other chapters, presentations on how we engage with the community, some of the meetings we're involved in, and so on. And the third bucket is the network study engagement and generating the evidence. And again, we've seen lots of the network studies that are happening here across the Asia Pacific region that Australia is part of. So I won't talk too much about that, but it's really great to see all the strides that the 4 APAC studies are making at this stage. So let's talk a bit more about the data sets in Australia. So Jing, if you can go to the next slide. So what we're trying to do here is really try to take an audit of the databases and data sources that we have in Australia that are, in various stages of OMOP translation. And as we heard in morning's talk, there's been a bit of work in the hospital data sets here in Australia in the last year or so, I guess. And a lot of those hospital systems have, systems like Epic or Cerner as systems. So we're trying to sort of coordinate some of those efforts where possible, which is where the collaboration with Singapore comes in with their experience with the Epic system. So you can see that there's, quite a few different databases in different states. So we've covered nearly every state, but got a lot of work to go, if we want to make OHDSI a much more in Australia, a much more national data network. So, and there's various stages of progress of the translations. So many of the administrative data sets have kind of been translated, but we're really, as I said, focusing on some of the hospital claims data sets or EHR data sets at this stage. So if we pop to the next slide, please. So really our focus for 2022 has really been on the ETL, and we set up an Etl Work Group which met in May 2022, so just recently. And a lot of the discussion that we had in that meeting was really around how we can kind of communicate across the different groups in Australia working on OMOP translations. And some of the things that we have set up is a new GitHub site for sharing our work and attributing that work to the correct people. So there's a GitHub site that's sort of in development at the moment, but we're hoping that will become a really focused area that we can share our learnings across the country. And we haven't done this yet, but we are planning to create a OHDSI Australia forum as well to really kind of help us coordinate communications as well and get advice from the community at large as well. Another bit of the work, the discussion that we had was around how we coordinate the sharing of mappings in Australia. So, there are specific Australian terminologies and how we might get, the learnings from one group who have done a lot of work in that area, communicated to other groups, and how we might kind of, deal with licensing issues and those sorts of things. So we had quite a long discussion about all of that. So I was really interested, Christian, in what you were talking about with the SNOMED vocabulary. So it might be something we get you to give us a presentation on one day, Christian, like how we deal with this issue of licensing and making mappings available across different research sites and that kind of thing. So we had a long discussion about that. And as I mentioned, focusing on these hospital EMR platforms, particularly Cerner and Epic at this stage. So I think that's all I have. The next slide is, Jing, if we go to the next slide. Oh, this, so this paper came out just recently from a group in the University of New South Wales, and they've created an ETL framework for conversions of health databases to OMOP. And I just wanted to kind of shout this out if anybody's interested in having a look at that. They've created some nice sort of YAML files for the mapping logic, and it's quite a nice read to see how you can do an OMOP CDM conversion. And we also last year we had a OHDSI Australia event where the author of this paper presented his work. So again, that's available on our OHDSI Australia website, so you can jump on and listen to him present this work, and it's a really interesting sort of way of thinking about doing the ETL. So go and have a look at the recording if you're interested, and take a look at the paper. So the next slide, I think, is just the end. Yeah, so yeah, go to our website if you want some more information, and hopefully at next wrap up we'll have some more results to show you on our network study progress.
In Japan, and as you know, some of us participate to the APAC studies chapter and multiple sclerosis and APAC data quality. So, and the second is we are still developing mapping from Japanese to home office concept, standard concept. And so to use in Japan, I decided to make a tentative concept ID expression before the Japan's code is updated to Athena. So with this concept ID, we can develop mapping and use them. So this is second. Third one is we're doing monthly meetings. So every month we had some meeting and some tema. And other activities is not always Japan, but always related things are two articles. One is an article for pharmacoepidemiology journal. Maybe in September or something like it. Then. And also textbook is being prepared. So I wrote the home up section, and other people wrote a series and I section. Yes, I have regularly given a classroom. In Chiba University, I have Odyssey lecture. Organization. Yes, this is ongoing very long time. I'm talking to many people to build some organization. But this is not only Odyssey, but almost things to promote Odyssey further. Okay, that's it.
So I'd like to present about the mid-year update 2022 from Korea. This is Chan from Yonsei University. As of March 2022, currently we have 53 hospitals, including 34 tertiary and 18 secondary hospitals, have CDM data sources. And among these hospitals, we do have 72 million patients with duplication. The whole number of Korean population is 51 million. So there is the number of CDM databases actually exceeds the whole population because of the duplication. Next, please. And currently we have 18 Korean hospitals joined research border region. The research border region means that the hospitals in these zone actually recognize the IRB approvals of other centers. So and we don't need another duplicated effort for the IRBs anymore. So in the recent publication, we show that these 8 hospitals actually were included in the research border provision, so that there is no need to get the IRB approval for these 7 other hospitals. So this again eliminates overlapping effort for IRB approval in Korea. Next, please. We do have the Korean CDM platform called FreedomNet, and with our mat, until now, more than 10,000 analyses were conducted in the FreedomNet. From June 2020, 500 analyses have been conducted daily. And next. And recently, the HERA, which owns the nationwide reimbursement data, announced that nationwide claim data for randomly sampled 20% Korean population will be available for COVID-19 research from July 2022. So if you have any research questions about this, please let me know. I need to submit the research agendas and protocols to HERA. until the July 2022. So that's it. This is the update from Korea. Thanks.
OHDSI China, we have myself and Professor Hui Liu and Yi Zhou and Hua Xu co-chair the chapter. So this year we have the three objectives. One is to have a China-specific terms to map to the snow map. This I will report this kind of work, updated this kind of work, and then the second objective is to have some clinical studies. One is the APAC hypertension study, and the other one is a COVID study in Hong Kong. And also there are two more studies. And the third objectives is for training. So we're going to have regular training meetings, and also we have a OHDSI book translated into Chinese, and we're collecting question and answer collections as well. So next slide, please. Okay, about the vocabulary mapping tool development. We're trying, so first thing we're doing is to mapping the ICD-10 Chinese. There are about 34,000 terms, Chinese terms, mapped to SNOMED CT, the English terms. So this part, we have done some part of work, not finished yet. You can see from this table, there's a 4-digit code, but also there's a 6-digit code in Chinese terms. So we're finished the 4-digit code mapping. Now it's working on the 6-digit code mapping. So that's the mapping this Chinese terms into English terms is very important for in Chinese hospitals when we do the ETLs to make sure those terms mapped correctly, and then semantically we can have the data to be able to share it with the international source of data. Okay, next slide. And I think this paper has been mentioned by other groups as well, because this is the APAC study, and the China chapter also participated in this study as well. So I will not say much about this because the other people already say enough about this one. Okay, next. Okay, so then it's about the training. So we have a regular training every month. So every month we have we invite an expert to give a talk, and here to list all the past months talks in February, all online. So, and I think this the coming months in July we're gonna have Feng from Cornell Medical Center to give a talk, and besides this invite the experts talk, we also have the OHDSI book training. So based on the OHDSI book, we have students actually present each chapters to the audience and for each month's meeting. So we're continuing doing that throughout this year. I guess that's all I have to say about China chapter. Thank you.